good, go deeper.
Yes.
This is,
I was just thinking, like Bill Belichick, if you guys follow, if you know Bill Belichick, is there anybody better at that than Bill Belichick? Wins the Super Bowl, celebrates a couple of days, and he's on to the draft.
Yes.
And that's what he does. He's on to the next year. He's already making moves in his head. He's working.
Yes.
That I've always respected that
That's
man for that
awesome.
reason. And you're absolutely right. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, winning's a habit, man. You gotta do it every single day. It's a habit. It's a habit. So.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say that's something that Jay pointed out at one point that he said was really, really hard to do is if you, because he hit ground zero, right? It's like, okay, from that point you can only go up. But some of you have had really great lives. Guess what? It's really, really hard to be living in a great life and to want to still be better and to try and improve from that point because of the contrast in this alignment. There's not a whole lot of, oh, I fell off of this and that's why I hold this to such a high esteem and I'm so happy and grateful for this because it's always been like that. It's always been this smooth coast sailing type of existence that I've had. So why push? Why try? Why do all of these things? And it's because that if you don't, you'll never experience life the way you're supposed to. And holding on to that gratitude and like George said, when it's great, that's when you'd be like, okay, yeah, things are really great right now, but what do I need to work on? That's that putting yourself through the discomfort. Because that was something that I think I kind of went through. I was like, well, it's okay. I mean, I got picked on and stuff like that, but it's relatively decent. I relatively had a decent existence. Even though my pops left, it was replaced by step pops, and he was pretty decent. He was well off. It was like, you got to still, even though those times that come in your life, and sometimes it's an extended period to where you feel like you're just skating and everything is great. It's like, okay, but still reevaluate. What am I doing? Where am I? Because you're like, oh my God, because you've had this great time. And it's like that's when it's most apparent is when you're in that victory stage for too long. So
if I give a little words of encouragement, I can honestly say in my professional life, my biggest wins, and I mean epic wins, came after epic failures.
Yes.
In 2000, so I was 32 years old in 2018. I was in process of separating with my girlfriend / partner, and she literally got pregnant like on the way out. Like we had already like I'm going here, you're going there, don't let the door hit you, like let's go. And then she gets pregnant, and she's like, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And she's like, I'm like, okay. And at the time we were between New York and Denver, and I was like, okay, let's go back to Denver, where I know that I can make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, and because there's an economy there. She's like, no, I'm going home. And home was Post Falls, Idaho, with a population of 15,000, where you were lucky to get a 9-hour job. So I was 32 years old, living with my pregnant girlfriend's mom, and no job, and I literally had $18,000 to my name that I had acquired from selling off all of my belongings, and I couldn't find a job to save my life. Like I literally they were like, "What about your previous job history?" I'm like, "I've always been self-employed," and they're like, "Oh, okay, well we don't wait." And I was like applying for like $12 an hour jobs, and I just went from I just paid $5,000 a month for 2 years to go to work.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, I ended up buying a carpet cleaning company because I had done that in my early 20s. So I'm like, what can I do to make $100 an hour? And I took that company from nothing to, we were cleaning like 2,500 to 3,000 homes a year in less than 24 months. We were the largest carpet cleaner in North Idaho and one of the larger ones in Spokane. And the moral of the story though is I was miserable. I was making like 150 to 200 grand a year all of a sudden, like from zero. But I was miserable. Like I equated it to stripping. Like I love the money, but I hate the act. So and I stayed in that for a while, and I still have that company.
Yeah.
We've just pivoted, but like, don't be a, failure is, there's this misconception that failure is a bad thing.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't failed.
Yeah.
Like, I was 27 years old making like 30 grand a month. I was literally making more money than I knew what to do with. I'm a kid from the projects. Like, I was one of the only white kids for 5 years. And like, literally 10 years later, I'm making 20, 30, 40,000 dollars a month and just living the life. And I was single. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's what got me in trouble though. I was single and I saved all this money. And I was like, oh, let's go invest it over here. And then, you know, and it went bad. But once again, had I not gotten on that road, I wouldn't have the lessons that I have now. And I've acquired more in the last 10 years than I ever acquired in the first 20 years.
Right. I love it, man.
So you need the lessons.
Yeah,
Don't be afraid to
absolutely,
do it.
absolutely. And I think to dive into what Kev was talking about too, as well, is like, I really think it's more difficult to, I think I have a huge advantage. I mean, I woke up from attempted suicide. I had nowhere else to go but up. I mean, it was either go back to drugs or go up. So that there's an advantage to, I'm saying do not do that, but I'm saying there's a huge advantage to being that low. So I do respect people who have a really good life, they get their shit together as well. That's more difficult. I really, truly believe it's way more difficult to have a really smooth life and be able to find the motivation to like, because I can visit that dark place, I can go there, so I know what it feels like. But if someone hasn't been there, to create your own, I think that's even more difficult. So know that like if somebody's listening to this or online or whatever, it's like you're going, oh shit, what, I have to become a drug addict? No. It's actually more difficult. It's more of a feat to become extremely successful when your life is easy. That's even harder. So I respect anybody out there that's like, you know, gosh, man, I hit the ground. Like, so me and you, like, we hit the ground. It was like we had no other choice. It was survival, right? But if someone's like, man, my parents are good. I got good money. My mom always took care of me if something happened. And now you're like, I really want to get motivated. You know you could fall back. And it's like, so respect to all those people out there too that have good lives, because it's not just about the fall, because you hear the stories of like, you know, Tony Robbins or, you know, me, blah, 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 and all these people. It's like, you know, Eric Hip Hop Preachy was homeless, and, you know, you hear all these stories, but then I always think about the people that are like, shit, I wasn't homeless, I wasn't a drug addict, I didn't hit rock before.
So I'm to speak on your comfortable, like, so now in my life, and I'm not wealthy by any means, but I'm comfortable.
Yep.
I've built passive income. I learned my lessons from 2008. And so I built enough passive income that my bills are paid if I don't get out of bed. And that would go, that's part of how I got through the corona and all that. But where I'm at now is I'm in the middle. I'm in mediocrity, and mediocrity is comfortable. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, like, I've legitimately thought about the companies that I have that are passive income, redirecting those deposits to an account I don't have access to, like legit don't have access to, and putting myself at bottom, at rock bottom, like where, like, oh shit, I got it. I have 4 house payments. I don't have any car payments, but I believe in house payments. So how am I going to make those house payments? How am I going to make all that money to like support my life? Because that's what I need. Like, I don't fear starting over, because I know what I would do and I know how I would do it. But I'm not doing it because I don't need to.
Right, it goes to the victory.
It goes to the victory. So it's like, you know, so don't, you know, people get comfortable, and I see it within my friends. Like they're in the middle, and I'm like, there's so much potential. They can't see the forest for the trees. Like, it's just like you gotta continually make yourself uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like, there's a reason that I, to a certain degree, I almost self-sabotage a little bit to give me that reset.
Yeah.
So I can go do something else.
Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're all gonna go run 5 miles right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. No, I'm just kidding. All right, we're gonna.
Let's get you guys to run.
We're gonna do a 15-minute break, bio break. Sound good? All right. Thank you guys. Break.